living my life now. And fear is like walking with me, side to side, right? Because we have our, our shadow, our dark shadow and our bright shadow, but we walk together because I'm the one that makes that choice. I was not crazy like I thought I was, and that it was just my mind playing me tricks. No, I lived through this.
So what you're saying then is your experience, even though it was horrible, has now given you the ability to have empathy and compassion for someone that walks into your office.
Definitely. It's just brought me a lot of learning and a lot of challenges, but with every challenge, it's a learning experience. So, I'm glad that I feel, like more mature within the years, the time, the experiences, that I am doing so many things now that I've never thought I could create and I could do.
2 thumbs up for making it this far, for getting out of bed.
Hey guys, welcome back to the 2 Thumbs Up podcast. Dr. Todd again here with you today. It's good to be back. I mean, we've had this new podcast room we've created. Yay. We have our beautiful friend Carina on with us today. But it's been a few weeks since we've done a podcast, and I've missed it. So I'm excited to be here and in our new room. And you're our first guest, Carina, on our podcast.
I feel honored.
Yeah,
Thank you for
first podcast ever.
First podcast ever, and I am excited.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about you, if you don't mind. Like, I know what you do for a living, and we'll jump into that later. But, Anna mentioned you, and like, she's just got a zest for life. And that's something I love as well, just the zest for life. But let's kind of back up, if you don't mind, in your life. I know you just told me your age. I'm not going to share that on the podcast.
Of course not, because I'm in my 24s right now.
Yeah. So what is it? Where did you grow up?
So I grew up, I was born in California, Martin Luther King Hospital. And my parents divorced when I was about 6 years old. So I moved to Guadalajara, Mexico with my maternal family. And my father's side of the family, they all live in California. So for me, it was a really big change because, divorced parents. And I was really attached to my dad's family and my dad. So just taken away, like all of a sudden, to a new country, new traditions, a new culture. It was, pretty hard to adapt as being a child. So I grew up there. I was there for 5 years. So most of my childhood, I was raised in Guadalajara, Mexico, which is a beautiful country, by the way. And my dad's family is from Guanajuato, which it's on my bucket list to visit one day because I heard it is a beautiful, beautiful city. And then after those 5 years, I moved here to Colorado, where my dad was living in Colorado, a really small town. So there, again, right, it's a big change again. I took some ESL classes there where I had to learn English now. So good thing now, what I am really grateful for is that I can read and both languages, right? And write and read and speak both languages. So that has given me a lot of opportunities in life. So I always, I grew up helping my family, friends. So I just, love doing that. So
yeah. So from 6 to 11, you lived in Guadalajara.
In Guadalajara.
And so do you remember a lot of that time?
I actually do. Like, I feel like my childhood, I preserved a lot of beautiful memories that, now is like, that's just how I became the person that I am now. Just because I've lived so many different memories, which I keep and cherish. I keep memories with my paternal grandmother who raised me since I was a baby and I lived with. I cherish those moments. And then with my maternal family being in Mexico, like especially like in Christmas time, the posadas, the parties, going to church, going to catecismo, which is like church classes. The schools there, I remember they enrolled me in like a nun school. Oh my God, that was kind of not a fun experience because they were pretty strict.
Was it like a Catholic girls
Yeah,
school?
it was a Catholic school, and I had to wear like this uniform, and we had to go on the bus, and it was like not very close by where we lived. But it was, I still cherish those moments, and now for me, they're, adventures that I lived, while I was a child. But
So your paternal grandmother, yeah. So was that in California?
yes, she was in California, and my dad has a lot of family in California. Like I have cousins, aunts, like you name it. It's a big family. My grandmother passed away a few years ago. She was 98 years old, and I consider her as my mother because I remember like waking up to French toast, like the smell of like toast in the morning with café con leche, the coffee with milk. And yeah, it's I cherish and I keep those beautiful memories from my paternal grandmother.
And so I can tell by just you sharing this that your family has, your mother's side, your father's side, a huge impact on your life. How do you see, it's an interesting thing, and I love culture. Like I spent some time in Asia, and I love the Chinese culture, but I also love your culture. And there's something really, and I've talked to a lot of people over the years from Central and South America and Mexico, and there's something so rich, like just rich about your culture. How do you see that? Like, what's been your experience with that?
Well, I mean, for instance, like in school, I did some flamenco dancing, like folklorico dancing. Like I feel like it's very rich in all the ways, like even with the food, with music, the whole environment where you're in, like is just, it just uplifts your soul. And, I've always loved like sharing that experience, being in, like in the folklorico, like dancing. And I didn't do it like for many months or years. It was just like a short period of time. Because at that time, I was just brought into this new country, and my mother was testing like, okay, well, we can, try this out or try that out. So I did the gymnastics as well. I did swimming classes as well, just trying to keep busy, but yeah, but I mean, our culture is just, unbelievable. Like,
What would you say is like, how would you, describe it? Like if you were to just say what it feels like to be a Latina, like what does it feel like? Because, I think here's one of the things one of the intentions I have in my life is to build bridges between cultures and share that. Like, I feel like one of the things, there's several things that divide humanity. One is language, two is culture. But how beautiful would it be that if humanity, we could start loving and appreciating and being grateful for all cultures, like, just and connect that way. I will forever be connected to the Chinese culture because I got to spend 2 years over there, and just you speak of the food and the colors and the dance and the music and the family, right? And I will forever be connected to that, and it's the things I remember like crazy, And so what you're describing is what, and my experience of the Latin culture is just so much beauty. I spent some time in Europe, and it's like so beautiful. It's what I feel like there's a piece there that really could connect all of us. And if you were to describe it based on your experience of your culture and what you feel about it, what would you say? How would you paint that picture?
I would say like spice, like that sabor, that, just the way you feel. I mean, that's my personal experience. I mean, I know there's others, right, where as well, our culture is very conservative as well, where you marry and you must stay with your spouse for eternity, right? So, but I focus now like in the cherishing the good memories that I keep, and I would describe it as un sabor único.
And what would that mean in?
Unique spice flavor.
It tastes very...
taste.
Just so... the words comes for me as rich, like just in so many ways, just rich. And you before we started the show, you mentioned a word, and it's like you bring abundance, and I'm like, and what you're describing to me is the word abundance too with your culture. It's just so beautiful, and I literally pray that because of to truly listen to another's life experience and feel the richness of your experience. And I know you've probably had a lot of hard times. I'm not saying it's all been a lot of flamingos, right? But
of course.
But there's bringing that richness to your life experience. I feel like for me it connects us. And it connects me to this conversation for sure. And that's one of the reasons I love this podcast. It's like, what is it? Like, Carina comes into this experience called Two Thumbs Up Podcast. Yeah. And like, you've never been on one. And I'm like, okay, I love to experience what you've experienced. And you do a great job of describing that and sharing that. You come back to Colorado, and then somehow you ended up in the great state of Utah.
Yes. So in Colorado, it was like more farm life, where my dad lived in a little small home, and there were tornadoes there. So I was always freaked out about tornado warnings. And our next door neighbor was probably like 1.5 miles away. So it was a really small town. But yeah, I mean, I created beautiful memories there. I adapted pretty well with, learning English. And then my mother moved here to Utah, and that's where I came to Utah.
To high school?
To high school, yes. And this is where, I stayed. And I am a young mother. So at 15, I met the father of my 4 beautiful children. And now when I look back, it's like, oh my gosh, Carina, what were you thinking? For me, it was like an adventure. Was I in love at that moment? Probably not, but within time, I loved this person, the father of my children. And we were together, married for over 23 years. And our children began growing up, and, our nest was getting more empty. So it's like we parted ways. We grew up, like in different routes, right? So it wasn't working anymore. And I left the house because we had a beautiful home in Eagle Mountain. And I decided to move out, and I moved to West Jordan. And now, like, if someone would have told me, Carina, in the future, you're going to divorce and you're going to live in Salt Lake City, I would be like, nope, you guys are crazy, because that's not happening. Well, it did happen. And, it's just brought me a lot of learning and a lot of challenges, but with every challenge, it's a learning experience. So, I'm glad that I feel, like more mature within the years, the time, the experiences, that I am doing so many things now that I've never thought I could create and I could do.
Yeah. It's interesting how what we classify as a difficult time a difficult thing, a difficult situation, a divorce, something like that. Well, it's not easy, but it's interesting how there's this it's an expansive process, right? Like, oh, I got to really step out of my comfort zone here, and for whatever reasons, this comes up on these shows where it's like when life happens, when these things happen, there's this there's only, it comes down to very few choices about who I rely on. And for me, when life is what I call life is lifing, the only place I truly go is back to my God, because there's so many unnavigatable waters like you just described. And I know we talk about this on the show, but it correlates, right? It's like beyond whatever you can do, there's a limit. And at that limit, it's where, wait a second here, I get to have some assistance with, raising the children, going through the divorce, creating your own business, doing all the things. Like, wait a second, I do not have the navigation charts for this waterway. I grew up sailing up in Oregon, so I love to sail. And so, when you sail, there's currents and there's tides and there's changes. And if you don't have your charts, but then the storms come up that we can see sometimes on our phones. But when the storms come up, but your charts are like, wait a second here. I get to have something beyond these charts to navigate the waters of divorce, right?
Yes.
And so how's that for you? Like you describe all these things you've done, which is beautiful, but what is it for you when you're like, how do I navigate this? What do you do?
It was a really challenging moment. I call it lessons of life, where, I come from divorced parents, and what I always wanted was to form my own family and have that forever. But now where I am, I know that my children grew up to be adults and they have, their own life as well. And if it didn't work out with the father of my children, then it's okay, right? You can start all over again. But yes, I, encountered myself. I was very codependent of, my ex-husband, where if something sounded, funny on the car, I would call him and say, hey, the car is sounding this way, like very codependent.
What creates that?
I feel like just fear maybe of like, not knowing what to do, not wanting probably to grow. That's how I see it.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
In your culture, is the male often the ones that make a lot of those decisions?
Yes.
And what was that experience like for you?
Well, I don't think it was a good experience, just because when I went solo, I had to learn all of these things, like taking my car to get an oil change, like simple as that, simple things like that. So taking my car for a wash, simple things like that.
It's beautiful that he would do those things, but what you're describing then is, in some ways, it's disempowering for another.
Yes.
Okay. So this is great. So that being said, right, how would you recommend, or and I don't love the word advice, but what would you say to sort of your children to keep from being disempowered by their relationship?
So, they saw, they had the example, which was me. So they grew up with a different perspective. as in, no, I am responsible for my own things. Like, I raised responsible children where they would get up, wake up in the morning, get ready for school without, pushing them, rushing them. Very responsible, doing their laundry. Till this day, they are very responsible with their work, with their studies. So they had the big example, which was I, crazy, huh? I mean, now
So
I'm
you've
just
empowered your children, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
by them watching this, and especially like my youngest.
And how old is your youngest?
So she is 22 now. But when the divorce was going on, she was 17. So she was going through a really rough depression. And, I took the decision to move out to West Jordan, bring her with me. And my youngest son, he stayed behind with his father.
Yeah.
So with her, it's just, a bit challenging at first just because she's the youngest. She sees all of her siblings, doing their own thing. And then here she is, what do I do? And I know I put a lot of burden on her because, she's the one that was closer, seeing mom suffering, seeing mom, going through all of these changes and struggles, being a single mom, because even renting an apartment was so difficult just because I was a single mother. And that was devastating. Like, I would walk out crying. Like, why are they not renting us? Like, I have a job that I've been there for 6 years and they're not wanting to rent us a place. So it was pretty sad, but finally, because God is big, God is love, and we found a place, beautiful place, 3rd floor, views to the mountain views, which were my favorite. And we had a balcony, and it was just very amazing to feel that peace and freedom at the same time, where, yes, I was starting over. Like, I remember her and I going to, because we're in Salt Lake, we're like Eagle Mountainers going to Salt Lake City, like, and we're in Eagle Mountain, we're all used to leaving our cars unlocked, our homes unlocked, there's nothing to worry about. But here is different. It's like the city life. So just experiencing that, getting everything, starting all over, getting everything from the dollar store, like plates, the necessities, the essentials. But at the same time, we were happy and we were at peace. And I would take her out every weekend. We would go like to the aquarium, to the zoo, to the parks, like Liberty Park, and just explore around, our neighborhood area, what offers, what distraction that it offers. And she started getting out of that depression. She started feeling herself again. She got a job. She currently works for a chiropractor, and she's learning a lot of things. She's doing her own thing. And it's just been very amazing just to see her grow and, see her. I always used to read her this book, the Caterpillar book, and I bought it for her one time for her birthday because, she's now become a beautiful butterfly. And I'm happy that my other, oldest children are also doing great. Like, they're living their own life. Ex-husband's doing his own thing. And
How's that relationship?
so that relationship, I wish it was much better,
Oh.
to be honest.
So so can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
You would love that.
I would love that.
What would you do?
Because like, I always say this, because there's a lot of people that say, our children are only, or my child support or my children are only till they're 18. For me, it's wrong. Our children are for an eternity. Like, even if they're 90 years old and I'm still alive, they're still our children. And guess what? We will share our children forever. Weddings, graduations, the first birth of our grandchild, birthdays, all of the beautiful moments we would share. But I mean, he is very Mexican. So he has his own way of thinking. And for me, I mean, I'm very open. Like the last conversation we had, I am very respectful, and I will always appreciate everything he did for our family. And if things didn't work out, it's okay. No pasa nada, but I want him to be well as well. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you would love to create something different with it.
Yes, definitely. But he's still like, no, it's
Not
not
really, yeah.
happening. And I'm like, well, that's fine. I respect that. I respect his space, and his children are old enough to, decide if they want to meet up with dad. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, again, building bridges, right? Between, after divorce is giant,
Yeah.
And so you mentioned a word earlier that I've kind of been thinking about, and it's, to me, you've kind of put it to rest a little bit. So you said the word fear. You talked about codependency. This is a few minutes ago, right? But then and I asked you the question, and you said, well, I felt like it was because of fear. And then you had this experience called divorce, and you stepped in, okay, fear, no más, right? And then you created all this stuff with your youngest and your beautiful daughter. What was it for you that finally got to a point where, like, hey, fear is not a thing for me?
I always, since I could recall as a child, I always felt fear. I felt fear of and I feel like this comes way back. Like, I feel abandonment. I feel and with that came the fear. So fear took a big role in my life, like fear of losing someone, fear of losing my family, fear of all of these things, right? And at some point after my divorce, I was invited to a personal growth training. That's where I encountered and I confronted my fear. And it's okay to have fear. It's okay to feel the way we feel sometimes, but that doesn't, don't stay on that. Just pull yourself out of there and create that as a lesson for your own life. Like, this is a lesson for life. With that, I mean, I've learned how to communicate better. I feel like it's not a personal, like if someone says something to you, don't take it personal just because it's something that they're going through.
Yeah, it's a reflection.
Yeah, it's a reflection. So it's okay. And, I'm just living my life now. And fear is like walking with me, side to side, right? Because we have our shadow, our dark shadow and our bright shadow, but we walk together because I'm the one that makes that choice. Yeah. Do I want this dark shadow to take over me with conversations, or do I want the good shadow, bright shadow to empower me? And of course,
who's the one in the middle?
I am the one in the middle.
Yeah, you can see that, right?
And I dominate both of them, and we walk together. And yes, I might have my conversations here and there, but guess what? It's like, okay, all right, that's enough now. It's time to, empower yourself and, keep going.
So I remember this. This is something someone shared this with me years and years ago. So the word fear, F-E-A-R, right? Mm-hmm. It's an acronym. So for me, it's an acronym. Face everything and rise. You see it?
I
face
like that.
Everything and rise. And so I'm like, every time, I face everything and rise. And life will life. There's stuff. And it's like, okay, guy in the middle of the choice, right? Yeah. What are you going to do with this? Face everything and rise. And so I love these conversations. Like, what is it? You've had this beautiful, and I can kind of, in you're sharing. Thank you for being so vulnerable, by the way, because that's at the heart of this whole podcast. We don't talk about politics. We sometimes talk about business. We sometimes talk about brain injury and concussion and health and all those things. But at the heart of it, it's people. It's you. And your willingness to be vulnerable is thank you for that. But I also wanted to jump a little bit in. You assist in the Hispanic community extensively, and you've done it for a number of years, where you were assisting people find quality care, quality legal assistance. What's been your experience in this industry? Because there's a lot of misconception, a lot of different places people can end up. What is it you see when it comes to assisting an injured individual?
Well, I look at myself going back, like where there was a point in my life where I needed legal help. And every time I encounter a person that is going through a situation, it's like right away, it's like, okay, I hear their story and I'm like, well, you probably need, sounds like you probably need a family attorney or, I am the intake specialist for a personal injury attorney.
And you can name who that is.
Kramer Injury Law for now 8 years. And I love my job. I love being where I am because that gives me the opportunity to help our community. I see every person like a family member. Like that could be my cousin, my uncle, my tia, like, my neighbor, like just, being there for them. And, just how that one or that point when I needed someone, I didn't have that help and I felt lost with that. And
why do you feel like you are so successful at it? I mean, I know you have passion, don't get me wrong, but you to me, because I've been doing this a long time too, and I recognize authenticity immediately. If it's not authentic, it doesn't resonate for me. It's not harmonic. There's no music to it. But you sharing, it feels harmonic. It feels authentic. There is passion, clarity, and it's coming from who you are. And so, what do you recognize that about yourself?
Yeah, I do. I'm sorry to say, but I do.
Why?
And I
please don't ever be sorry for authenticity.
No, and I like one of the things, my virtual things, like I am very honest. I love being honest. I don't like people who are dishonest. So I'm very honest and I like to help others. And I do it with don't get me wrong. Like if I'm helping someone, I don't want anything like pay me back. No, it's like I'm doing it genuinely. Like I'm trying to help that person at that moment.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
When you run into givers, often run into takers. Do you know what a taker is? Someone who will manipulate your giving for their gain. That's a taker. Does that make sense? Have you ever met a taker in your life?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. And so as a giver that you are, and you run into a taker, have you been swept up by a taker before? Or are you clear?
I am clear, but I always say, I don't like if other people are judging or saying or there's rumors, I want to experience that. I want to take that experience and see for myself. But I'm not going to stop being who I am towards that person just because of rumors or other people are saying. I want to take that experience and I'll take that. I'll honor that. Like if, yes. So that's, I feel like not just because you hear something, it might be true or not true, but I want to be the one discovering that.
That's a great way to do it. Because then then it builds bridges. It has clarity to it, right? You create clarity, and you also build trust when you do that for yourself and your own ability to discern, right?
And if that taker fails, then it's on them,
Yeah.
not on me, because I have given everything like in a good way, genuine way.
So you assist people that have been injured. You've been through a number of different things. What is it that do you mostly assist the Latino community, or do you assist?
We assist like all of our community, and we handle motor vehicle collisions, which is like also with commercial trucks, dog bites, or attacks, because not necessarily you need to get bitten by a dog. If the dog pushes you and drops you and you get injured, you're injured. Also slip and falls, and I don't know if I can say this on air, but sexual assault cases as well.
You can say whatever you want.
Now, for those cases, when I'm screening them, they're very, I get very like, it gets to me, and I mean, I've been a victim for sexual assault as well, with the perpetrator that right now, I mean, it's heard here in Utah. It's, I don't know if
it's been in the public eye.
Yeah, it's been, and he's out free, and and it was with a medical provider.
Oh heavens!
So it's terrible, because you trust and that there's something wrong, but then yet you feel like, no, I think I'm the crazy one. Like, I don't think that happened, or I think that's normal.
And how have you navigated those waters, so to speak?
Well, I was really young. I was pregnant with my first child, so I was 16. And I didn't know really what was going on. Like, I thought it was just a medical routine when it happened.
And so, it caused what it caused in your life emotionally.
Yeah.
How did you, because it seemed, you've definitely put that in I don't know if you have or not, but it feels like you've put that in a space where you're like, oh, I know I've navigated that in my life, and I've placed it here.
Yeah. And I tried to like put it aside behind me, just because I thought through that whole time that it was me, the crazy one. No, I don't think so. Like, he's a doctor. And then I do remember talking to my mom about it, and she said, no, like, doctors are very respectful. Like, I don't think there's anything to it. And I'm like, okay. So I didn't think of it much. And then I found one of my friends there in that same clinic. And I asked her, don't you think like he's kind of weird? And she's like, no, he's really nice. Like, there's, no, I don't think he's weird. And I'm like, okay, maybe I'm the weird one, thinking wrong. So that went on for many years until the big, news came out, and I'm like, wait a minute, like, whoa, I wasn't crazy this whole time. It did happen.
What do you suppose your brain or your mind, or how you navigated that? Because I've heard this before in these types of situations with others, where immediately the individual experiencing the abuse, or whatever the word is we want to use, they turn and question themselves. Like, you question, like, wait a minute, am I the crazy one here?
Yeah.
What is it about human nature that does that? Or in your experience, would you say?
Well, in my experience was because I couldn't believe it. Like, I was in shock. And this is like my first pregnancy, and I'm 16 years old. So I don't know exactly if this is a routine that should be happening. And I mean, I was like not far off to already giving birth, to check the placenta or uterus, or what the routine he had to do. So then, it felt wrong. Like, it felt.
So internally, you felt like something was telling you internally, innately, something is not welcome here. Yes. And so, I've heard this before, again, with people that have been through abuse situations. What is it that we do that wants to. It's almost like, oh, somehow this must be my fault. It's like this. You know something's going on that's not is not good. It's not working, but yeah, you blame yourself. Why do we do that? Would you say? What would you say for you?
I mean, for me, I thought it was like the wrong one, right? Like, no, maybe I'm the crazy one. Like,
but what is it though? What would you say?
just, I don't know. It's just something that I don't know if it was because I was like in shock when it happened. You
And
know,
if you're around someone that you put in a place of trust, this is why this sort of thing gets to stop in our world, is because there are people put in places of trust that manipulate truth, manipulate. And, it's like bringing awareness to the situation, and also healing from the situation is very important. And quite possibly, when you with your line of work now, when you have a client that comes to your office that's had a abuse situation, does it give you empathy?
it sure does. So I lived my life, I put it aside of me. But then yet when I start working for Kramer Injury Law and we're taking these cases, and I still don't know, right? Because the news is still not out there. I would get it would feel like so personal. Like their story would like get me so upset. And I didn't understand why I was getting so upset with hearing their stories. And it was like, if it was if it happened to me, right? And then I start hearing like all these news, right? And I'm like, wait a minute. No wonder. I felt I felt her pain because I was a victim. I was not crazy like I thought I was. And, that it was just my mind playing me tricks. No, I lived through this.
So what you're saying then is your experience, even though it was horrible, has now given you the ability to have empathy and compassion for someone that walks into your office.
Definitely. Yeah. I advocate for everyone. But when it comes to the sexual assault cases, I advocate with
power.
Power.
At the heart of what I hear you saying is that somehow in a magical way, some of the toughest navigation in life over time creates empathy, compassion, kindness, connection, healing for oneself and then for another. And it's somehow this, I see this, our life experience, sort of all of us doing this thing as this tapestry of life. Like somehow it's all being created or painted, or sometimes I feel like it's musical, or sometimes I feel like it's a painting or a tapestry just being created, all the ins and outs and all the flows, but as it flows in and out of the pain and the fear, empathy, compassion, love, connection, healing, forgiveness, all of this stuff sort of is squeezed out of this thing that we do called life, right?
Yeah.
And I love that. I love it. And it makes for a great compassionate person, a great mom, a great dad, a great business person, someone that knows how to build bridges in the community, communicates well, has passion, brings her entire cultural experience into what you do in your life. And it's like to literally capture it, all of it, of an individual conversations is like magic to me. So I'm grateful for you sharing all of that.
Oh, thank
and
you.
If you, I do want to give you a moment of just, if you have a phenomenal TikTok following.
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about that.
So Voz Legal Hispana was born almost a year. It was born on October.
Just 1 year?
Yeah, 1 year. And I already have over 10K followers.
How do we do that?
And I want to say that my followers are very respectful. They're very sweetie pies. And I'm always saying, Reina, beautiful blessings to you. And they're always supporting. And, I just do videos. I want them to see a genuine person through that camera. Like, it's me. It's real. I'm a real human being. I'm not an AI or, someone who's getting paid for a commercial. It's me, the life of an intake specialist. So I throw videos of my own personal life in there. I throw videos of informing them about the PIP protection benefits. Reach out to your insurance agency. Make sure that you have, UM/UIM, which is important.
What are those? I know what they are, but
underinsured motorists, they can
UIM
cover
is
you.
underinsured motorist. What was and UM?
UM and UIM. So this will cover you if you have the underinsured motorist and you live in a household, even if it's a minor, because we had a case where the daughter, she had got down from the bus and she was a pedestrian. A car impacted her. So she was a pedestrian case and we were able to represent her as well, just with the UM/UIM. So I always say, it's very important to have
uninsured is UM.
Underinsured,
Yes.
yeah. Underinsured, yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You love it.
I love it.
Yeah.
And I share moments with my daughter when we went paddle boarding and, we were pioneers on Pioneer Day because it was her first time paddle boarding. So I'm like, you and I are going to be pioneers today.
Paddle, yeah.
Yeah, and it was beautiful. I loved it. I fell in love. So we're going to do more of that.
I love it.
Yes.
Well, thank you for coming on the Two Thumbs Up podcast. I love these conversations. They enrich my life. I tell people all the time, in my next life, I'm going to be a Latin man, just because I'm like, I love your culture. I love it truly.
Yes.
It's just,
and the food is amazing.
and for us, I call it, we're an Anglo guy. I'm like, I love the Maori culture and I love the Samoan. I love it, and I love your culture. I love the people, and it's almost like there's that to experience it as sort of an outsider is my intention, just to build the bridges between your culture, our culture, my culture, and it just experience a little bit of it, and that's where I love these conversations. We just get to experience somebody. So thank you for being vulnerable and open and sharing all this stuff. If can you give your TikTok handle one more time?
Yes, it is Voz Legal Hispana.
And do you have Instagram and?
I do, but that's more personal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
just follow me on TikTok.
Will you come back sometime?
Oh yes, I feel like we need a part 2.
Okay.
Just because I found love.
Oh well, let's talk about that for a moment.
No,
Yeah.
we can talk about next part 2.
You found love.
I found love after everything that, thinking, this is it. No, I found a new love. And I say it's like a new beginning. So it's beautiful. I love where I am now. I feel really grateful with life. I am more, my spirituality is more stronger. He's very Catholic. So I do remember recalling sitting in the benches way in the back. Well, we sit now. Well, he sits in the front, so I'm going with him. So I'm sitting in the front bench at church, singing to the top of my lungs, So it's beautiful.
Amen.
Amen.
Love it.
Yes.
I love it. Love is so wonderful.
Yes, it sure is.
Yeah. Well, thank you again, love. We are grateful you came on. We'll do a round 2 anytime you want.
Let's do a round 2.
We'll roll this thing back.
Because there's so many things. I mean, round 2 with the new love, it's about adjusting with a new partner, a new life, new everything.
It's exciting.
Where you need to, yes, I was like, oh my gosh, do I need to share half of my closet? Yes, you do. And I'm like, wait a minute, I wasn't thinking about that, So it's
Awesome.
been pretty interesting, but it's pretty cool.
Oh, I love it. Thank you for sharing, and we'll definitely have you back. It'd be fun.
Thank you.
Yeah. Guys, thanks for tuning in to the Two Thumbs Up podcast. We love you. it's been fun to get back and do one of these, and we're going to keep rolling. So thank you.
2 thumbs up.